Hi. Hi. I'm not going to say that phrase everyone says, but really glad to have you all here. And let's bring you on because I tend to ramble.
Me first.
We got Mary first, and we got James,
James,
Judy,
put your
Jim,
mic is off, James.
and Earl.
You
Did I
made
miss
it.
anybody?
Hello.
I had
Hello.
sent him the wrong room.
Oh, well, welcome to
here
Breaking
now.
the Silence community chat, meaning that basically this is a big support group online. So, in fact, our whole channel has become that, and there are people out there trying to make us a bigger deal and syndicate us and all that, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm happy where we're at right now. It's just great. So, how is everybody?
Good, Mary. I
nod your head. You can actually talk.
You like that?
I do.
I
love
put up some
Halloween.
green screen.
It's a green screen.
Well, you have to put a green screen for you not to float through in and out of it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. So
anyway, I wanted to apologize for not having a secret story this week, but nobody's sending any in.
What are you gonna do?
Not have one?
Not have one.
I'm hoping that no one else here had a dream about a several 1,000-foot tall wave as I did the other night.
Wave dreams.
I think it was just a dream.
Had them.
It was just a dream then. Why do I still remember it? Well, because
scary as
I remember
hell,
thinking I need to get to higher ground, and I said, "This is ridiculous." And I started trying to crawl up this hill, and it was all like soft material, and I couldn't climb up, and it was just awful.
I hate those. I hate those dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of it might have to do that Mary and I both went in Monday and we got vaccinated for COVID and for flu and what's the other one?
RSV.
Yeah, and the RSV really took a toll on us. I'm still feeling it.
Kicked our bottoms.
I'm supposed to go fly airplanes tomorrow, and I will, but boy, I hope I don't feel like this.
Oh, man. It's been like 3 days.
Well, that's three in a
That's
3 in a row.
Yeah.
So, but better to feel crappy for a week than end up in the hospital and maybe not eat, and then in a box or an urn.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
I got the flu and the COVID at once at the same time, and I was afraid I would get sick. But I just felt kind of achy for one day, and then I was okay.
Yeah. Do not get the third one all in the same day.
I don't know if I'm going to get the RSV because my husband said that when he was in medical school that it was really for people who were immunocompromised or for young children or very old.
What they told us is people aren't getting their children vaccinated, their babies vaccinated.
Yeah.
So it's hitting older folks because younger kids are now getting it.
Oh, so it's out there.
So it's out there more because people aren't vaccinating their children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we're okay now.
Good. Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
As you know, I was a nurse for 40 years, and it's like, and I know it was a big, especially in the UFO communities, because of course we know the UFO phenomenon is this, it's a conspiracy theory. It's been kept from the public and it's been intentionally, and yes, there are conspiracy theories. JFK is another one that I think is probably, they're hiding the truth from the public. But everything isn't a conspiracy.
No.
Right.
Everything isn't. And so, and we got rid of polio right around when I was born. It was no longer, a couple of years after I was born, it was no longer an issue. And that was a vaccine, and it got rid of it. We don't have, apparently now they are seeing polio cases again because people are not,
they're not getting vaccinated. I've had everything, and I'm still here, and I'm 72. And if I make it much further, then I've proved them all wrong. So
I never got COVID, as far as I know. I never got it.
No,
I
I
might
did.
have had it Halloween, possibly like 4 years. Was it 3 years ago? I think it was. I had tickets to go
Thank you,
see
Wes.
Thank you, Wes.
Dead and Company, the Grateful Dead,
Mhm.
and
Thank you.
I had to stay at home because I was sick as a dog. But the
Yeah.
COVID test came back negative. So, but I had all the
You lucked
symptoms
out.
except I didn't have the loss of taste and loss of scent. I felt terrible. I just pretended like I did have
You're
COVID
welcome,
because
Wes.
it was a good
Thank
possibility,
you.
I
Yeah.
missed a really good Grateful Dead show. That's what I
Oh,
heard. I know my wife went and took one of her girlfriends with her, so I stayed at home.
No.
Oh
COVID
well.
caused me to pass out while I was going to the bathroom in the middle of the night,
oh, that was a scary
and I
story.
fell
Oh, no, I
and
thought he was dead. His
and
eyes were
I hit
open.
my head, but I narrowly missed the sink, which is a marble stone material. If I had hit my head there, I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now. But I missed somehow and hit a
man.
plastic trash can instead, which broke my head fall, and I woke up with Mary yelling at me at the top of her lungs, "They better not be dead," and all this stuff. And I just wanted to, I felt fine. I just
my
wanted
late
to get back
husband
up and go to
died in the
bed.
bathroom.
Oh,
He died in the same
sorry.
bathroom. So
Oh,
when
no.
that happened to
Hmm.
Steve, it was like
Yeah.
all over again. And
You
it
are
was
just
it was
lucky.
a frightening situation.
Yeah.
But he was
Yeah.
he's
Oh
still
no, I
he's still
got
here.
He's still here.
Yeah, if I hadn't had the vaccine, it probably would have killed me. So instead of just making me sick. So,
Yeah.
you know, but
Hey,
I've had all my
Simon.
vaccinations, and it got me to be 72 years old. Otherwise, I would have come down
Pretty
with
good.
polio and a whole bunch of other stuff, and I never would have made it. So,
Yeah. Yep.
And who
this is
knows what they do to us.
who they, them. Oh, yes, yes,
They.
yes.
Them.
They
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know,
Them up there.
I keep getting interesting marks, and in one of the ones I got, I think I shared with you back over a month ago or so, is left a permanent mark. Very interesting symbol on my leg. So Whitley's got something like that too. So I giggle about it because if you don't laugh, it's like it's just so crazy.
I had what I think may have been an implant on the back of my left calf, and you could feel it there, and it felt like a little BB was in there, and then it went away. Maybe it traveled somewhere else, but I wasn't going to get rid of it because I like my ETs. I figure if they want to keep track of me, maybe they're watching my health, maybe that's how I get my synchronicities. I honestly don't know, and but I don't feel like it's an invasion. I don't feel like
Hey,
so,
gnarly.
Hey.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I feel the same way.
No, it's like two upside down L's, John. Wavy L's, the symbol, not Grateful Dead tattoo.
So how
If
have
you're
you
gonna
been doing,
give me
Jim?
any tattoo, give me a Jimi Hendrix tattoo. That would be better.
I've got
Jim, how are you?
yes on my arm. There you go. I got the band Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
Here,
don't have
I'm
any.
moving the wrong way. There you go. And then
I
I've
don't
got
have
a Bob Dylan lyric next to it with a guitar, my old Martin guitar.
Lil Dylan.
It's, yeah, Bob Dylan.
No Joan
The
Baez.
first line. It was a song that was maybe about Joan Baez. It's Visions of Johanna. It's the first line from that song. So, ain't it just like the night? It's on a little banner. I got that 35 years ago.
Wow.
It's scary. Long time.
Hey, Jim.
Too.
How are
How
you?
have you
Nice
been
that you're
doing?
here.
I'm doing
how are you?
okay.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of interesting experiences lately. You were talking
really?
about you were talking about before I get to that implants in 2016, I think it was. I was doing a ton of flights and for court cases, and I noticed one time they'd go through those MRI machines, those ones they make you go like this.
Oh, yeah.
Hold up your hands so we can,
Yeah.
do whatever. And they pulled me aside almost every time that month to look over something in my arm. And what I learned is once you get out of the machine, turn around and look, and the screen's there that has what they're looking at, and you can see implants. And you can actually see an implant. I had one that moved around, and it was in a certain place at a certain time. And one was in my stomach.
Wow.
And I was at a conference. It's with Deb Cobble. And she had the same thing at the same time. I got pulled aside for secondary security while they went over and couldn't find anything, and even put the stuff on my fingers to see if they were explosives. But with Deb, when she went through it, the bomb dog or the drug dog or whatever immediately laid down right next to her, and they cleared the whole thing out. And it took them 2 hours to clear her to fly out.
Oh man.
And they were looking right at the same spot. And so we joked that we both had the same implant at the same place. And on their machine, it registered for her like explosives.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And so, obviously it wasn't explosives. We did have a pretty bad meal the night before, but not that bad.
Oh,
And so, this is all, we're at 2 different terminals in Sky Harbor.
Wow.
And so all the California people went home on one terminal and were wondering what happened to me. Then they heard what happened to Deb. And it's never been figured out ever since. She's neither one of us have ever had it since. I've been pulled aside a couple times looking for explosives, that I have explosives on my hand. And one time that same month when they pulled me aside, I was there wiping it off, and it's taking like a half hour. And the guy looked at me and said, you're being awful calm about this. And I said, I'm a city attorney. I'm used to law enforcement taking too long with stuff. And so he laughed. And that probably got me out of it without going to, the room with the rubber hoses or whatever to find out what was going on.
Oh my God.
Boy.
But I really
no cavity
think
checks, eh?
No.
I think they're related to, implants. I think they can spot them. They may not know what they are, but they can spot them.
Well, Homeland
we
Security,
went to
some of those
France, Mary.
guys.
When we went to France, Mary, you remember that the thing beeped at me several times. They finally just said go.
Yeah.
They made me take my belt off and everything, and they never, and it happened twice.
It's happened to me about 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
Wow. They just can't find anything.
But yet my Gauss meter doesn't register it. So what they're using is actually a metal detector. So as opposed to electromagnetic field device or
see, I've never had that with with the old X-ray machines that you went through. But once they went to those magnetic resonance imaging,
MRI,
MRI, thank you. And then I now every time I go to the airport, I immediately look back. And with my balance issues, I have to watch myself. I grab a side so I don't fall down when I do it. But I want to see it before, because it goes away after, it goes away after about 15, 20 seconds.
So Jim, what's going on out there? Because you're very involved in disclosure or movements towards disclosure, and you pay attention a great deal. In fact, you had something on Signal this morning that you said was worth watching. And what's the tone out there?
Well, as far right now, it's sort of there's a slim hope that the Schumer Mike Rounds bill will actually UAP Disclosure Act may actually make it through, but they're doing it a very funny way, and so it's not usually to do amendments. What they're doing is they're just going to wait for the conference committee on the National Defense Authorization Act budget, and then what they're going to do is they're just going to throw it in the mix and see if they can make it stick, because the usual team, the troubles is Ben, Mitch McConnell, and Mike Johnson.
Did you say bit?
Yeah.
No, never mind.
No, well, I'm slurring my words a little bit.
No, I'm just being a jerk.
Yeah, but no, that's no.
Instead of
that. First, it was everyone thought it was Rand Paul,
right?
But Rand Paul, he's a kook. He doesn't have a lot of power in the Senate. He has power to hold things up, but not to go through. So there's still hope out there, but with the election approaching, it's we'll wait to see the aftermath of the election, whether people are still talking to each other.
Right. Don't you think even if they finally just say, okay, we're going to let all the paperwork go and it's public, it's the media probably won't pick up on it that much. And if they do, it'll be just very briefly and the public really won't notice and they won't take the time to really look at it. And even though they've released documents that say, yes, absolutely, they've recovered craft and there's bodies and all that stuff, they're still going to not believe it. They're going to continue thinking that people are crazy and believe in that stuff, and the government just made it all up because they have some other agenda. I mean, that's my the way I'm kind of seeing it.
Well, it's easy to say that past performance doesn't make future assumptions, as stockbrokers tell us. But for 80 years, you've been right. And so,
who's going to do disclosure? Who's going to tell the public? We don't have a Walter Cronkite. And no matter who gets elected, half of the country isn't going to believe them. They're going to say, oh, fake news. It doesn't matter who wins. It's going to be the same problem.
Maybe Morgan Freeman or Tom Hanks.
No, they think that he's a child molester and stuff. That he eats children.
I believe Morgan.
Morgan,
the right wing doesn't trust any movie stars because they're part of the cabal, so to speak.
oh boy!
But
I know. What a mess.
The big thing I'm working on. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, Whitley said something interesting in the other day about this is not so much about contact as it is about us having a relationship, realizing that they're real and that they've been here for a very long time, and just the way he said it, I wish I could remember the exact words, but once people realize that they have a relationship with this non-human intelligence and have, which would mean that they would have their own personal proof as a result of actually coming into contact with them themselves, then they would accept it. But not being told by the government or told by us or anything else, people have to experience it for themselves. And when they do experience it for themselves.
Exactly. And I want to address John Condor. He says, we can tell them, let's spread the word. Well, that's what breaking the silence is doing, is spreading the word and trying to join us all together. But the powers that be do not like to have us spreading the word. So it's up to us.
Yeah, we've been stuffed down by YouTube. Basically, YouTube is not promoting a channel. They were at first, and now they're not. But that's fine because we have the ability to spread this. Now, Earl hooked me up with Bill. And Bill's with what network is that again?
KGRA.
KGRA. Right. He absolutely flipped out when he realized my background and what Mary and I were doing with Breaking the Silence. And of course, he can syndicate us and spread us far and wide like no one else can. And so right now we have to get headshots for him, and he's going to make a banner, and he's going to put us in audio. He's going to put us in video. He's going to spread us to all the video channels and all the social media. And he's really gung ho to do it. And that's thanks to Earl here.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Earl.
so
It's my
that means
pleasure.
what we have to say will, instead of reaching thousands of people, will reach hopefully hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people. But it's still going to remain the same show.
Yeah.
We're going to tell the truth. We're not going to sell out to big money. And so they can tell us what to do, because that's exactly what they'd like to do if we get too much attention, because they don't want the truth being spread. And we need to spread the truth so people can have their own personal contact.
And again, as John Condor said, we are disclosure.
Right.
And
Yes,
we
are.
still need to tell your
Yeah.
stories and just keep it spread far and wide.
That's how it gets out.
Like you said, Fred first, far and wide. Fred is our gray, that our mascot at the studio. Mary named him Fred, and I know
the
that,
owl was.
that Dennis, his name Jerry. So anyway,
So I'm going to be on Jimmy Church's Fade to Black this coming
Oh,
Tuesday.
really?
nice.
yeah,
Very
I did a
nice.
show once. I did a show
Oh,
once,
yeah.
and then they took the power out. A big green flash happened in the sky, and the power went out. It took me 10 minutes to get.
It
me
was
back
really
on the
funny
air.
that night.
Oh my God.
He was out by the
He
fire.
never had
pit,
me back. So, but
You scared him.
maybe.
yeah, well, I've got his telephone number. I have his texts and everything. And whenever I try to contact him, he never returns it. So
You see
I
those
didn't
fellas
think
in
he
back
liked
of me?
me.
They're ghosts.
I know he doesn't like me.
That ghost.
Anyway, sometimes I don't like myself.
Aw.
I had dinner with him, Paul Hynek and Sev Tok. It was like the
Nice.
four of us. And this was maybe 3 months ago. And I thought he was going to have me on the show. And then I never heard back from him. But he did have Sev on. And I'm like, well, maybe he just didn't like me. I don't know. I always am friendly to him if I see him at, a convention or something. And but no, he got me on. So I was like, wow, very, very cool. Okay. That's,
I
I
haven't
guess he
heard
does
back
like
from
me.
Susan either.
What's that?
I heard from her. I'll elbow her and bug her again.
I CC'd you in my
was,
response to her. Did you not get it?
I did.
Yeah.
She told me she would love to do this, and she wants to actually come physically out to your studio.
Oh, nice.
She'll turn it into a trip. So she just has to work it out. She's got a new live-in sweetie that she's her boyfriend, and they've been sort of going all on all these trips and stuff. So I think that they were out of town, but she said that she would get a hold of you soon. But I'll kind of nudge her and get her going there. She wants
And
me to
Judy-
come out too, and she's on your show, and I told her, of course I will. I would be honored. So.
And Judy's going to be visiting us soon too.
Yes, Judith's going to be out here next week.
Saturday.
Cool.
It's Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Great.
Yeah,
And
we're
on
looking
that
forward.
Saturday is we're going to premiere my latest show, which is this time a half hour long. I just decided,
Wow.
the 10-minute thing, the 15-minute thing is fine and everything. But when I actually sat down and started shooting myself on camera and telling the story that you're going to see, it was 20 something minutes of film. And so,
Wow.
or video, however you like to call it. And so it's very cinematic this time. And also it's in 2:3:9. That's the format. That's the format
Cool.
that most movies are done in most documentaries and television shows now, which means that in the not too distant future, our televisions will change format once again. They will get narrower and wider. But I love
Wow.
that format. It just has a very cinematic feel. It's very careful with the lighting. I did a lot of visuals, not too many, to go with what happened to me. And it's kind of a journey over a 2-year period, which led up to something that to this day I've never gotten over. It was so moving in my life. So
Wow.
and it's definitely has a connection with the visitors, and that's That's the one that's going to screen next Saturday. So not this
Can't
Saturday,
wait.
but
Next
following.
Saturday.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah,
The Gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
But
come.
I've been working my butt off on it, and I'm kind of tired from that too.
Yeah.
And then the next day we have our meet and greet, and Judy's going to be able to attend.
That's right.
Ooh,
In Boise.
I'm
And
excited.
we're gonna have Ann there too, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Is Ann here tonight? I
No,
haven't
she had a retreat that she had to go on.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to be
Yeah.
in two places.
Yeah, I've tried. It just doesn't work.
I'm going to do my darndest to be there. I got to give you a little heads up. It's Lisa and my anniversary.
Oh, you're not going to go to a
Like
meet
on the
and greet on your
20 on the
anniversary?
22nd. No. I'm not doing no.
Okay.
It's like a couple days after yours. Yours is on the 20th, and our anniversary is the 22nd. But if Lisa
you're
wants
fine.
to go out of town, if she wants
You
to go
missed the
out of
last one. You
town that
can't miss it.
weekend, I want to go. So I'll probably. I think I'm almost certainly I'm going to be there. But
Are you going to make it?
it depends. We did our trip to Carmel, and that was
Wish
supposed
we
to
could
be
go
our
too.
trip for our
Love that.
anniversary, and we already did that. So I'm pretty darn sure I'm going to be able to do it.
How about you, James? Are you going to be able to make it?
Oh, I can't. No, it's really hard for
Oh.
me to travel.
No, you're Jim. He's
you're
James.
Jim.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
meant Mr.
We'd
Pike.
love to
Mr.
have you
Pike.
here, Jim.
I'm
We'd love
sorry.
to have you here,
My
Jim.
fault. Go ahead, James.
You're kind of far away.
It's
Yeah.
okay. My name's interchangeable with Jim, so that's okay. You're talking about. Yeah,
I've
you know
never
what?
called you Jim.
I really want to come to this one, and I'm going to do everything possible to find a babysitter. And I really want to meet Ann and Judy, and love to see Earl and just the whole gang. And so, definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
we have a really nice time. It's so pleasant to just sit and talk about this stuff. The last one we had, Danny and Doan were the last to leave, and that was around 7:00. We started at 12.
Yeah, we say it's from 12 to 4, but we've stopped doing that. It's from 12 to whenever.
It's the 12 or whatever, because we get so involved talking. And Doan, he talked about his musical background and being Jethro Tull's drummer and stuff. And how things related to, things going on in his life related to this stuff, and it got really deep. So
That's great.
And I've met Doan.
Don't worry,
He
Mary.
comes
This
out
is
to
all
my
inside
meetings
scoop.
here.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that he was Jethro Tull's drummer. I've seen him in concert a few
Well,
times.
I
with them.
forgot that we're live. So I
Yeah,
forgot we're
you
live, so
did.
we'll, yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What-
I'm just
what
I'm not
Judy
feeling
said.
well, so I'm not feeling well.
There's nothing like an in-person support group meeting for experiencers.
Yeah.
There's just nothing
No.
like it
No.
because we're two-dimensional objects on Zoom, which is great to do it, but in person, you can feel
Yeah.
how people
Yes.
are talking about it. You can just feel it.
Yeah.
Now I get that same kind of feeling when I watch Steve's work, like the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see, but sometimes it just creeps me out, because it feels so real. Your special effects they hit home with me. They really do. And
Thank you.
it gives me that sort of in-person feel.
Yeah,
I-
I keep trying to
me too.
improve it. So
Well, it shows.
yeah.
Don't make it too real.
Well,
For me, don't make it
I
too
just
real.
might
For
float up
everyone else,
through the
yeah.
roof.
I just
you
found out
know?
that
Well, I'd love to
gentleman-
do it virtual reality. Then they can give you a hug.
Oh,
we can do that. I know how to do VR, but it's not very well supported by the public. Not many people have it, and nor can afford it. So, John,
Thank you, John.
There's a gentleman who that made actual 3D lenses that behave like actual lenses for a camera. for the 3D cameras that we use using in Unreal. And so instead of my having to shoot footage 3D in 3D, this is not AI, and then enhance it and use filters to make it have the simulation of an actual being shot through an actual lens. This lens, these series of lenses he has, which I have yet to try, but I've seen the results, just take the edge off the CG look and just make it look like it was a real street or a real house and real person for that matter. There's a big difference between AI and what we call metahumans done in Unreal Engine. They look like real living things now, and they just recently have a new release of Unreal that I'm about to try that has taken that to another step. And Mary saw the sort of avatar alien they did with it. It was just so amazing, and just the life to it. Nothing like the dead looking stuff that AI does. AI, it makes a face, but it looks lifeless and dead. And this looked completely alive and real because it's motion capture of a real human face. So it's picking up all the same expression and the life in the eyes and the movement in the eyes, the blinks and everything. So I'll be doing that.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Love it.
I get my head back on after 3 vaccines.
Not recommended.
No,
I'm not going to do that. I'm
Wait a
taking your
week to get the
advice.
RSV. Don't get all 3 at once.
Yeah.
Well, that one burned when they gave us the
Yep.
shot. I mean, it burned.
Mm.
And it just really burned when it went in. The other 2 just didn't. So, and he said it would. So.
Have you guys gotten the shingles shot?
That's
No, I think I've had enough
that
for a
is
few
next.
days.
I did that. I think that's an
'cause
important.
that's a twofer, right?
It is a 2. It's like
Yeah.
3 months apart. I had a friend who's just a couple years older than me, and he got it really bad, and it got into his eye, and it can be really be
that's
bad.
good.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh man.
Yeah,
So
well,
I got it after
that's
that.
next. But I'm going to wait till after the first of the year.
Yeah, you got to give your body a chance to
Recover.
back to normal.
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, I hope I feel better tomorrow because I'll be flying a jet that does 135 miles an hour, and I'm going to do it no matter what. So.
Wow.
So has there been a
Wow.
lot of
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Full stop.
I've flown it
Flying a
before.
jet- if you're flying a jet, you should be feeling 100%. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah. Back. I was working for a radio controlled modeling company out of Texas that developed an all fiberglass body, a twin jet engine F-15, and they sent me the kit for free if I would just put it together and fly it and test fly it. And he flew out, and I had been up to 4 in the morning.
Oh, it's a
working on it.
model
It had
jet. I thought you were
It's a
And I
flying
had a
model. Oh, it's a
full
model.
jet.
Okay.
Yeah, it had a 6-pack.
Okay.
It's still
Yeah.
no. When you fly a radio controlled airplane, I'm going on
Okay.
record to tell you now that they are harder, take way more skill to fly than a full size airplane.
Wow.
And if you're not at your best, it can go very wrong. And when something's moving that fast and there's that much weight, where it impacts, if there's no one standing there, it'll be a miracle. But
it's dangerous. Yeah.
but I've flown. I've had to fly professionally for camera and stuff, and been sick, and I've always pulled through. So
Okay.
yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah. No, I've been doing it for years. I can, as long as I got one eye that's open and I can stand up and move my hands, I should be able to fly.
I'm sorry. You're cracking me up,
Okay.
Steve.
Okay, I have a more on subject question. Has
More
anybody
on
in the
Or more on target. Yeah.
other than the airport?
Well, it's all alien technology. I couldn't fly it anyway if I didn't have it.
What has been happening out in the chat, and anybody have any sightings or experiences recently? Anyone?
Well, David Hermosa Fields did, and he sent me pictures of it. I forgot to tell you that, Mary.
Nope, you didn't share them.
No.
Who did?
David, Hermosa Fields?
He's from Hermosa Beach.
Yes.
He's a local.
Yes. And how odd. I guess that it wasn't a message. It was an email.
People are talking about the shingle shock. I'm just going to put out there, I didn't feel anything with the shingle shot. Maybe a little tired. But some people are saying they had some symptoms.
Yeah, itchy. I can deal with itchy. I have friends that have had shingles too. It's not pretty. Hurts a lot.
Mm-hmm. That's
as far as experiences, Mary, I've had the last 3 days, I've had some pretty weird synchronicities, all related to something I can't talk about right now because it involves somebody else. I don't have their permission. Yeah.
Be vague.
But it really shook me. And so the night, as I go to bed, the night that I was contemplating it, it was that day I learned about all of it. When I wake, I'm an old man, so I go to the bathroom a lot. It's just part of it, part of the deal. And so I figure, I wonder if I'll have anything, because what happens is when I get up, my wife has a clock over on the left of me as I'm going out to the bathroom. And if I'm asleep and I look over at the clock, I usually can't make out the lettering because, with your eyes shut, you just, when you open your eyes, it's hard to see things. So usually it takes me till I come back to the, from the bathroom that I can see. But when I see 111 or 111 or 1111 or 222 or 333 or 1234, I see it instantly. There's no adjustment needed. It just pops up,
that is
like it's in Technicolor, to use an old term. But it just pops up. And so that 3 nights ago, after I, was on the phone and learned about somebody's experience that sort of related to me, that's as vague as I can do it. I thought, if there's something to this, I'll probably get some that night. So the first time I get up, I went to bed a little early, so it was 11:11, and I saw it right away. Go to the bathroom, come back. Next one is 1:11. Next time I get up, I see it right away. The third time I got up that night, the last time, before I woke up, I saw 2:22. And so the next day, I don't get anything done. I'm working with this, I'll talk a little bit about maybe later, the disclosure advocacy group, but I was working on a lot of the corporate documents for that. And I basically just read a book, read one of the Dune series, just a escapist, and did no work, and sent to the executive director that, hey, I'm checking out. I'm sure it's fine. I did the first draft. Let it go. So the next day, I'm thinking about, experiences. People are having different experiences now. They're a lot more direct. And so my wife's out, Martha, you've met Martha.
Yes.
It was out, sitting it was 92 degrees, and she was laying on the couch on the patio in the front yard, just playing with her phone. And she did that for 3 hours, and that's never happened before. And usually, if it's too hot, she comes right in. She's Canadian and adjusting to Southern California heat waves is not good for her. So I was making dinner. I had everything in the oven and the microwave, and everything was going, and beeps were happening, and everything seemed to be working out fine. When I came in to the dining room where I could see it all and just listen to music, I turned out the light, the overhead light, because we have all those canned lights that just burn up a lot of energy. And so I'm the person that goes around the house turning off all of the lights. And I don't say to people like my dad did that, what do you think we are, the power company? But so I turned off the light, and something grabbed my attention over by the light switch, that something was moving, and I thought it was my wife, and the light goes on. And so I yelled to Martha, and I look out, she's still outside. So the lights went on by themselves. The switch turned, it changed. And having just turned them off 10 minutes ago, I remembered. It's not like, it was 2 hours later I walked back in. So that was weird. And so I got thinking, well, it's been a while since we've had a trickster around, or a ghost or whatever that does things like that. So I went to bed thinking about that, and wondering if I'm going to have a bunch of synchronicities at night like the night before. So the first time I get up, the clock said 11:12, 111 and 2 for the fourth number. So no synchronicity. So the next time I go to the bathroom, I look over and the clock says 112, 112. So there's another minute off. And so the third time I get up to go to the bathroom, it's 2:23. So all three were one. It was like
one off.
I go to bed thinking, they've got a sense of humor. They turn my lights on, and then they do the exact same sequence as the night before, but just added a minute to every one of them. It wasn't like a minute before or 2 minutes. It was 1 minute on each one of them.
Yeah.
And
that's a pattern.
Yeah. So my last call was with Yvonne, just going through that. And I had I had three punctures on my arm down here about 3 weeks ago, with a fourth one that was like they're equidistant, perfectly straight, and then one a little off and a little further away. And I go, wow, we've had ants. I didn't think they could make that big a bite. But they went away in 2 days. And I'm old, and like I still have scabs from when I, hit myself 3 weeks ago, and they're still there. It takes longer to heal. And this one went away. And talking to Yvonne today, it sort of triggered a memory that about a year ago, I had the exact same pattern before. And we had an ant invasion, and the only ones that were that big were those there. I had little ant bites that don't show anything. Those tiny ants that bite a lot. And so we ended up talking about where Yvonne had an incision that just popped up out of nowhere and then disappeared in a couple of days. And so started talking about that. So I'm not having experiences like I did when in my 30s and 40s where they're picking me up all the time. But I'm having these weird sort of, sort of like laying crumbs out, and I usually, when I have the, the synchronicities, I usually stop myself and think about what I'm thinking about. And that usually leads somewhere. And so this is the same bedroom that an alien walked by me one time about 6 years ago. And all I did was step back and said, "Excuse me." And he went over to my wife's side of the bed. And I just went to bed.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I know we do the darndest things when these things happen.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
Camera's right there, and I won't even take a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
have a camera, and
So
you know, it's just amazing. And that, in fact, that instance, I doubted myself because the alien was sort of tan and mottled and was about this tall, came right up to here on me. I saw him walk in our bedroom, and then I looked directly at him and I lost him.
Hmm.
And I felt it was he. You know, you didn't see any body parts, but I thought that it was he. And so instead of, I looked over at my wife because that was the direction he was going, and I couldn't see him. So I looked straight ahead, and then I saw him. And he was doing something above my wife's head with his, like his had his hands there.
Something you said makes me think to ask myself a question about energy. I wonder if female and male energy is the same no matter what species.
Good point. I don't know.
I
But
you
I
know,
always get the sense of the gender role. I
Yeah.
won't say sex
Yeah.
because I don't know what they do, you know,
it's an energy.
and I don't want to know.
Ah,
But it,
an attorney who doesn't want to know.
yeah, well, yeah, something I want to know.
Something
Some-
you don't wanna know.
well, I won't tell it. I one time was in the Court of Appeals, and our
They might
argument,
have 5 sexes. Marriages are very rare, but apparently, you know, once they're achieved, it's something quite fabulous. You know?
but on that note, the argument was about whether comments by a city council member outside of a meeting could be held against him and against the city, that the intent was to discriminate. And the opposing counsel kept hammering on that. And so I thought, you know, I've only got like 3 minutes left on rebuttal. And so instead of going into a big argument, and I said to the court, you know, you can inquire into the minds of a legislator, but you may find out that there's nothing there.
Oh, dear.
And the court all laughed, and then I go, oh my God. And I looked around and go, oh, I'm glad the mayor isn't here. I thought he was coming. Or else I wouldn't have a job. And I won that argument. But you're right. You know, you don't know what's in people's minds. But
Indeed.
back to my instance, the look of the alien was totally different than anything I remember or have ever seen before, even in like where they show pictures of them. And so I figured maybe I didn't see it. And then about 3 months later, I flipped on what's the name of the lady? Linda Monthow.
Oh, yeah.
And she said, we have a special show. We have a picture drawn by a police artist of an alien. And she flashes it up, and I almost fell out of my chair. Because if it wasn't the guy that was in my bedroom, then it was his twin brother. Because it just popped up. And so it's amazing how many times you get confirmation when they want you to get confirmation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jim, did you watch our latest show with Sev Talk?
No, I didn't see that one. I had something on my disclosure advocacy group.
You should watch it because
Okay.
I did graphics for that. And what she saw, it had a very sort of like rolls of flesh on its forehead going around the side of its head. It had the black eyes, but it was sort of tannish gray and
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah, I need to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of my work with this new group we're starting, I've been pretty well tied up. I haven't
It's
watched.
only 10 minutes long, so.
Oh, good. No, but I've watched one show of anything in the last month.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I'm working on the stuff, but I don't get to sample it myself lately. But we're about ready to, the disclosure advocacy group is about ready to finish the incorporation process. And it's a bunch of attorneys, most of whom had no interest in UFOs until they started paying attention to Congress. There's a couple of us that are experiencers. And so we sort of feel a special obligation to help educate the new ones. But the group is going to be, we've been working with whistleblowers. And for my favorite part of it, we've been developing FOIA, requests, because people file FOIA requests and they don't get it. They got to find a lawyer, has got to pay them a lot of money to chase
What
it
is a
down.
FOIA request?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Freedom of Information Act.
Okay,
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Jim, you're being asked a question, Jim.
Oh.
Rachel is asking, what were their eyes like, Jim? What you saw?
The tannish one, they were large, but they were just here. They weren't wraparound.
Right.
Yeah. Linda Moten Howe has the picture. I should actually take a screenshot of it. But, I subscribe to her show. I think I've watched it once in the last 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot out there.
Yeah, there's just so much out there. But but one of the there are several reasons to do these kinds of things, like these FOIA requests, and litigate them, because it could help with disclosure, but also it educates the public. If you come up with something big, like one of the requests I want to push for is the Robertson panel in 1953 issued a report saying that UFOs aren't real, but the people that believe them are a danger to the body
Yes,
politic.
I remember that very well.
Yes.
That.
Well, there's an exhibit to that report that's never been made public. That was the recommendation from the CIA Psychological Review Board.
Oh boy.
Now, in the Robertson panel report, they talk about using psychological warfare for offensive and defensive reasons. One is to go after the evil Soviets, which they never did, using psychological warfare, using UFOs. They used it all against us. I'd like to know what their psychological review board, the one that, was in, MK Ultra and you name it, it doesn't exist anymore. But why would they withhold that? I mean, there's no psychological review board anymore. And what secret would they hold except something that they don't want to talk about? And so stuff like that could really help with the public understanding this. And then there's, of course, the pictures and that kind of stuff. But that's one of our purposes. And so once we incorporate, we're going to start filing lawsuits. And we've got attorneys joining probably about 4 or 5 attorneys a month join the group. And they're from all over the country. And we're about ready to link up with a group of attorneys interested in the same subject in Singapore.
Wow.
And we've got some side groups with Signal that, half the people in the group are living in Europe. And so our goal is going to be to connect up, not to take the place of any other group out there, but to sort of fill a niche that nobody's doing right now. So
it's important to be it's important to be global.
Yeah. No, that's a good thing.
Yeah, and so that's sort of, I didn't mean to come on to talk about that,
No, it's
frankly, I'm just happy to be on
Very
and be able to figure out how to get on this thing. I
Yeah,
still
Well,
well,
we're
haven't
this-
figured out
we're
how to
so
do the
happy that you
paperwork.
did show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the last time I said I was going to do it, we ended up with an emergency call.
Yeah.
See, these are all attorneys working in private practice who have their own practices who are donating time. So we end up with calls on Friday afternoon, Friday night, because like the last one, at 3:50, that's 6:50 on the East Coast. And so that's when people get home and can do this kind of stuff. So it's been
So is this Danny Sheehan's group, the new paradigm? No, okay.
No.
Oh, that's
We're not-
good.
no.
Then. So there's more people doing
More.
that. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Danny's more interested in the college aspects and those kinds of things. We sort of meet. Some of the members are serving as lawyers for some of the new groups that have started, and I'm not going to name group names or whatever, but some of them. I'm the old man of the group, and so they don't trust me. So I'm the chairman of the board of directors, which means I don't do anything.
Well, the older you are, the more you know.
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
That's
Or
the thing.
the more they think,
Yeah. They don't trust people that have more experience than them.
So
but I'm trying to introduce experiencers to some of these new attorneys to slowly, this isn't about tin cans flying around in the sky.
Yeah.
That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we have about 5 minutes or so, and I'd like to see if anybody in the chat has any questions for anyone. Maybe.
It's so quiet.
We had some
I
good
know,
ones
it's very
earlier.
quiet. Yeah.
Maybe something's going to happen tonight. I have an
Wow.
odd feeling, but it could just be the 3
Oh, boy.
vaccines, but I just have this odd feeling.
That was Monday.
And I know. And Jim talking about, getting up at 11,
We have some
12.
new comments.
Well, that's when I get up
Okay.
the first time.
Okay. John
And then the
Condor
second
wants to
time
know
is
if
2 something.
anybody. Let me just show it.
I found that interesting. No. The last sighting we had, we got on camera actually with the night
A new
scope.
camera.
Yeah,
When it wasn't
it's been
foggy.
foggy ever since that night, so we haven't had a chance to go out.
I'm
Well, I'm
hoping
glad
something will happen while I'm there.
It might.
Could very
Be
well.
careful what you
It
ask
might.
for.
I
Ask
know.
Earl.
I'm putting it out
What
to the
what
universe.
happens
I-
to poking people?
It
Earl?
pokes
Right.
back.
It pokes
Earl
back.
says it
The
pokes back.
phenomenon pokes back. That's
Yeah.
my creed. It
Yeah.
does. That's what
I
I
haven't
found
had
out
any-
personally.
I'm asking.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I had.
Well, the Coronado.
did you guys all?
You get a bunch of people together that are experiencers.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
They had the mass abduction.
Yeah. And the Clintons
Yeah.
were there.
Called the
Clintons were
Coronado.
there at the same
Oh,
time.
yeah.
I was there.
I think they got abducted because they have an interest in this.
Yeah.
You all saw Seb Talks show that I did, right?
I saw it.
Yeah, and you saw the X of little round burns.
Yes, the
and,
X's. she
and I
had.
got just one of those on my back.
That's what
It
you
must have
had
been
when you were at the
Monday.
Coronado?
No,
Wow.
this must have been Monday that it happened
Hmm.
because I wasn't
Oh,
feeling all
Monday.
that great that day either. And I got out of the shower, I saw it, and it was exactly like one of those. I showed it to Mary,
Wow.
Wow.
and it stung, and it wasn't there when I went to bed. So who knows?
Wow.
Weird.
Hmm.
Yeah.
On sightings, I haven't had any, but 2 different attorneys in our group, they'll want to have a call with me, not to talk about the group and the legal stuff we're doing, But Jim, they tell me you've actually seen them and all that kind of stuff. These are people that really don't know. They're learning.
Yeah.
And two of the people, one attorney and one non-attorney, actually, of the group, said, well, gee, I wish I could see one. And Mary triggered my memory whenever she said, be careful what you wish for. And that's exactly what I said to both of them. And within 48 hours, both of them saw a UFO.
Wow.
Wow.
And so the hitchhiker effect is in full force.
Mhm.
And another academic, well, no, she's in the financial industry. Another woman that's part of this larger group that they have. She wrote a paper for the Soul Foundation on the impacts that disclosure would have on the financial industry. And after she published that, she started having sightings herself. Never before.
Wow.
And,
Yep.
and
Interactive
she
phenomenon.
But I think I did.
not because she ever saw anything. She came to it because this stuff sounds serious. Maybe we should look into what would happen if there was a massive sighting over New York that the
Wall
TV
Street,
cameras
right?
are taking it. You know, what would happen to the Dow Jones? I mean, there'd be a sell-off
Wow.
immediately. Because
Or not. Everybody might buy more.
Well, but you don't know what to buy.
Yeah.
ExxonMobil is probably one you wouldn't want to buy.
No.
No.
And they're not showing us 0 point energy, so we couldn't invest in that.
We were told the other night by someone that there is no such thing as free energy. I'll tell that to the sun.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's not entirely free, but you know that we are surrounded by it. All we have to do is tap into it. So,
Yep.
well, I'm really
Well,
glad
yeah,
you're
we
here
made
tonight.
it all. We made it
Yeah.
entirely through the hour.
Reed and James showed up. Thank you, James.
Wonderful. Thank
Hi,
you.
James.
Yeah,
Hi, you're
and
welcome.
hopefully we'll see you at the meeting,
Yeah.
the meet and greet at the house.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll be sunny out and we can sit in the back. It's so nice out there. So,
Yeah.
And maybe we'll all have a sighting at the same time.
good.
That's
There you go.
November 3rd.
Especially if we go to 7 o'clock because it'll be getting dark by then. That's when they like to come out. It's right around dusk. That's when I saw that big triangle that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
It's where Kelly
thank you for
Johnson
inviting
saw
me.
his UFO, the head of Lockheed, you know, the guy that invented the U-2. He saw a UFO in that area. You know,
and they're coming out of the ocean.
Right there.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. I imagine.
All right, you guys.
Yeah.
Well, have a great evening.
Yeah.
You too.
Have a great
guys
weekend.
too.
Seeing you all.
Sleep well.
Yeah.
If anything happens, let us
Thank
tell us
God.
about it.
I saw one.
And thanks
There you go.
everybody
All
There's
of you-
exciting
coming
for
to
the
our
day.
community.
All right.
Thanks for all of you in the
Thank you.
community in our chat over here. Thank you so
We'll
much.
do
for
this-
showing up and
We'll do this again
participating.
next
And
month.
thank you for your
Okay.
support, John, and everyone else who gave support tonight. It's very much appreciated.
Absolutely.
Thank
We
you.
all appreciate and love you very much, and we will see you next Friday.
Yes.
Oh, I won't be here next Friday.
No,
Where will you
we'll be
be?
doing our Friday night show.
How about Saturday?
I'll be
Yeah.
here.
All right, you guys.
Have a good time.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.